Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe the best stories are the ones shared over a glass of wine or a cocktail. Each week, I sit down with women who've said yes to building something meaningful, often after years of putting everyone else first. We talk business, big dreams, and the mess in between. And of course, a few favorite drinks. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. 2 weeks before Christmas feels like the exact right moment for this conversation. The world is buzzing with activity, and yet so many of us are craving stillness, perspective, and a reset on what matters most. This week, I'm talking with one of my cousins, Melissa Hampton, a brilliant financial planner, entrepreneur, and mom whose life changed in an instant. Melissa shares the story of a medical crisis that shook her family to the core and ultimately transformed the way she works, parents, serves her clients, and lives her life. It's raw, it's hopeful. It's a reminder that clarity often comes from the hardest places, and that sometimes we are invited to rebuild our lives in a way that finally feels aligned with who we really are. If you need permission to breathe, if you're carrying more than you let on, or if you've been wondering what it looks like to choose a slower, more intentional way of living, this episode will meet you right where you are. Grab a cozy drink and join us. You'll be thinking about Melissa's wisdom long after this episode ends. Here is Melissa Hampton.
Hi, how
Yay!
are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy we're doing this. I can't
I
believe it's
know.
been, months, but yeah, we're finally
Yes.
doing it.
I love that. So last time we talked, and for those of you listening that don't know this, Melissa is my cousin. Would you be my cousin, my second cousin?
That's a
I don't know.
very good question.
Yeah.
We're distant cousins through marriage, right?
Yes. So Jeff's mother and your grandfather were brother and sister. Is that accurate?
Yes,
That's accurate. Yes. Okay.
I believe so. Hmm.
Okay. Well, we connect at family reunions, and I love that. I'm grateful we have those to be able to chat and
I
get to know
know.
each
That
other a
was
little
so
bit.
fun this summer. Yeah,
Yes, it
absolutely.
was. Yeah. So when last time we talked, you were getting ready. Not it was coming up a ladies' retreat. Go right.
I was up in Dillon, Colorado, like
Nice.
Silverthorne area. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
it was beautiful. So yeah, it's a group of women that I connected with a year ago on um, Amy Porterfield's platform.
Yes.
Probably a lot of your audience would know her. And we went through that program together, but it was so massive that we created our own little pod group. And we've talked every week since then for almost a year now and finally got to meet each other in person, and it was wonderful. So
Oh
just
my
a
gosh.
little mini mastermind, and one of the
Mhm.
gals has a second home up there, so she was gracious
Oh,
enough to let us stay there, and yeah, it was great. So that in-person connection is really important, I think. So,
absolutely. Well, and you're like-minded, you're go-getters, go-givers.
right. Yeah, we all connected. It's just, crazy the amount of people that you have the ability to connect with. You know, we all have similarities in kind of the way that we're working and trying to move our business, the direction we're moving our business towards, but we're in similar industries. So, insurance, accounting, marketing,
Hmm.
virtual assistant. So, yeah, it's a great connection to have. So,
Very cool. Yeah,
yeah.
and for anyone listening who doesn't know, Amy Porterfield is the queen
Yeah, she's the
of
queen of marketing. Yeah, in digital
yes,
course.
digital
Yes.
courses. Yeah. So have
Mhm.
you relaunched your course? How is that going?
Yeah, so what I found, I kind of came full circle in doing that work, especially with the conversations with my little pod.
Hmm.
So, her course is all about creating a digital course, a membership, something like that. And I came full circle to realize I already have a course, which is the financial education that I provide to clients. And
Yes.
I already have a membership, which is my current client base. So I really just took her strategies to recognize how I can foster those relationships that I've already built within my business and just how to do it better. Give clients more structure so they know what our processes are, that type of thing. So,
Wow.
yeah, and online marketing is just a new world. I mean, not for some, they start their businesses that way, but we're small town Midwest over here. So I built my book knocking on doors and meeting people face to face and getting to know their families. So trying to expand on that through the online world is a little bit more difficult. You have
Mm-hmm.
to connect with people in different ways, and allow them to get to know you. So,
Mm-hmm.
been interesting.
Yeah, I imagine. And
Mhm.
for your core business, you are a financial planner, correct?
Yep. So I'm a certified financial planner professional. I am coming up on 8 years as a financial advisor to be able to buy, sell, and trade on the market. So the majority of my first handful of years was basically investment management. I was an employee with a major corporate firm that recruited me
Okay.
to be an advisor. So it's pretty bubble wrapped, which is okay. I had some great training and it allowed me to really work on my client relationships. But it came to a point where my clients needed more. Just naturally in our area, I was connecting with people that were higher net worth, that had more complex tax issues. And for one, I needed to know how to give advice for that. And for two, be able to have the fiduciary capacity to legally give that advice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, after 5 years, I went and studied for and passed my CFP exam, and then took my business independent, so that I can do more of that complex planning for clients.
Wow. And
Mhm.
it feels like a natural progression and growth
Yeah,
pattern.
yeah, absolutely. I think that some advisors may love stock trading all day, every day, but for me, I do like that, and that is an important part of a financial plan. However,
Mm-hmm.
the bigger picture, is what I really enjoy. How do we solve these huge issues, this giant
Mm-hmm.
puzzle that you have, to bring all of those different parts of your life together? So that's your taxes, your estate strategies, your cash flow. I like bringing all of that into one picture, and yeah, it just provides a lot of value for
Mm.
clients.
Yeah. Well, and being, where you're located, you're in Wyoming, correct?
So I grew up in Wyoming, but I'm in Spearfish, South Dakota, so just right across the border in the
Okay.
Black Hills. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, I think my Wyoming roots, transfer through a lot to how I work with people. I have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of ranching clients, but I also have some CEOs from Denver too,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the common theme is they just want someone that they can get to know and trust to handle, you know, professionally handle their bigger issues and what they've
Mm-hmm.
worked so hard to earn over a lifetime.
Right. Right. Well, and getting back to your doing things digitally, so
Mhm.
marketing yourself online, um, I imagine you're attracting clients from all over the country. And
Mhm.
how does that change the complexity of it? Do you need to be licensed in multiple states? And do you need to, I mean, are the tax laws different? Are the
Yeah.
strategies different?
So I think the strategies are very similar. So when you
Mm-hmm.
have higher income people, whether they're working or they're retired, where those strategies remain the same. But no, you're correct. So we have reciprocity with our licensing, that I can get licensed in
Okay.
any state, which is nice. The tax differences, that's where it becomes important for my relationship with a local CPA. And if they don't have one, we have networks that I find CPAs through that have already been
Mm.
vetted, that we can trust to work with the client. So that client, advisor, CPA, and attorney relationship is a partnership that we're the professionals that should be handling everything for the
Mm.
client. Um, Sometimes people have those professionals in their lives already, and sometimes we go and find them and build out that relationship for them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow, interesting. So how does that shift your business when you obviously have the relationships with your community and where you grew up and things, but like the online relationships, how do you foster those?
Yeah, so it has been interesting. Last year we ran some Facebook ads. I think, being really direct in those issues that we're solving for clients. So,
Mm-hmm.
how do I pay less in taxes? Exactly when can I retire? Or let's establish my retirement timeline. Something that people really appreciate is, what's my max spending amount to get to my goal? And then how much can I spend in retirement?
Mm,
And those are all questions that keep people up at night that they need
mm,
clarity on. So, really,
mm-hmm,
just being direct about these are the problems that we're solving for people. Um, let's start that relationship. It begins with a financial planning engagement. So, within 8 weeks, we have a structured process. And within 8 weeks, they get answers to those questions. We bring another CFP on board. We have a professional tax consultation with them. So they have to be in that place where yes, they want clarity. They want to begin, building their confidence, and they're ready to do that in an 8 week time period. The relationship doesn't end there, and that's where it's a little bit different. We can do all of that through Zoom, and that continued relationship for people online is through
mm-hmm,
Zoom and phone calls. I've traveled to see people, of course, to meet them in person, which I enjoy, but we can accomplish a lot through this. I mean,
mm-hmm,
looking at each other and talking to each other over camera, we can accomplish a lot. It's just a matter of them trusting me, to do that work for them.
mm-hmm. Yeah, all about building relationships, no matter what career you're in or what industry.
Right. Yeah. And I think that will continue to change. I mean, I just dropped off flowers for a client closing on a property this morning. So,
Oh,
I won't be able to personally drop those things off for clients that live in Boston or Florida. Um, but that's always top of mind. Like, how are we engaging in their life? It's not just, we're going to answer these questions and manage your investments. We're really a part of their life milestones. And that's really
mm,
fun for me to be a part of too.
yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I that is so warm.
Yeah,
Just
and I hope
thinking,
so. I mean, technology is wonderful, AI is wonderful. So, I want to provide something that they're not going to be getting by managing their investments on their own on an online platform,
mhm.
or answers that they're getting from ChatGPT. It has to be personal, and we have to trust that person that's giving that advice. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And just thinking through how to manage all of that. Because, it's one thing if you have 10 clients, but
Right.
you're building a client base. So how do you systematize that? How do you automate that so that
Yeah.
you are reminded, okay, John and Mary are closing on their house today. And how do you keep track of all
Hmm.
of that?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite topics. So, when I was an employer advisor, at one point, I had over 600 households.
Oh,
And that was because it was just the more clients, the better. I mean, that was just the process of that firm that I worked for. Didn't matter
mm-hmm.
if they had $1 or $10 million. We helped everyone. And so, after our life change with our family circumstance with my son, I gave away half my business right away. And what that means is just like this is too much. I can't truly care about 600 households, which means over 1,200 people, and really get to know their families, when their birthdays are, like what their life goals are. Yeah, how are they going to purchase this piece of land? How are they going
Mm-hmm.
to retire early? So that was step one. And then when I left that firm, I minimized even more. So currently, I do only manage 40 households. And why I
Oh,
say it's one of my favorite topics is because before I went independent, I read the book 10x is easier than 2x. If you're
mm-hmm.
an entrepreneur or a professional and you haven't read it, you need to buy it like right now. Go listen to Audible or yeah, Amazon it for same day delivery. But that really helped me understand like how can I create value to people who just need education, which is why we do workshops and we, educate online. And then how do I really create a white glove service for people that need and want those more complex strategies. Um, so that will always be my goal. Yes, I probably could double capacity, but to become a client, you need to have a need for advice, and have
Mhm.
like more complex needs. But also, we have to really like each other because we're going to spend a lot of time together, whether that be via Zoom or in person. And that connection, I think, is really important. So the second part of your question was systematizing all of the. So I love processes. I think it's probably one of my
Me too.
stronger, yeah, strengths is like figuring out how to keep things very simple.
Hmm.
Even with our financial plan, this is our 8-week process. We schedule those appointments. I have great like CRM technology to put in reminders. There's there's never an open-ended to do, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
after a task is accomplished, there's always a next step with every single person, whether that's a review, a phone call, a birthday, an anniversary, that type of thing. So, um, yeah, I think you do have to be very structured when any business owner. Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm also hiring a virtual assistant, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's
So,
exciting.
yeah, yeah. We live in a smaller area, so it's hard to find people in person that
Hmm.
have like the expertise that I was looking for in an assistant. So that will be starting within a couple weeks. But I think those options are great for people too. Eventually, we may build a team, if we reach capacity and um, we need more advisors, great. I'm open to that. Uh, but yeah, right now, a virtual assistant will step in to help with some of that, which is exciting.
Yeah, that is very exciting. Yeah, so many of the women I coach are unintentionally keeping themselves small, keeping their businesses small
Yep.
because they can only handle, they want to give excellent customer service, excellent care to their people, but that
Hmm.
keeps them small. They just need the systems in place to be able to handle more capacity
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
scale.
absolutely. And I think right now, with all of the online marketing information and different programs out there, you can get distracted, like
Mm,
which direction is my direction? And so that's where I've come full circle in this year is to be like, all of that is kind of a distraction. I need to focus on advertising to my ideal client, and that's it,
yeah.
because there are a lot of people that can help with everyone else. So yeah, I think being direct in your marketing,
Hmm.
sometimes you have to pay more, like sometimes growth is expensive, and that's
Uh-huh.
hiring or purchasing software, running ads, that type of thing. But yeah, you don't want to do it fuzzy. It needs to be with clarity. Um, I'm working with a new coach. Her name's Julie Solomon, and she talks all about um, clarifying your message. You're
Hmm.
talking to your ideal client, and otherwise you are going to waste money. And I think that's where people get frustrated when they try and grow.
Right. Money and time, and you're really not serving your people, the people who need you the
Mhm.
most,
Right.
because they haven't heard you. They don't know you exist.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That
Yeah, and I
messaging is
still,
important.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's great.
Yeah. You mentioned something with your son.
Yeah, so he kind of ignited this whole life transition or life transfer from chaos and corporate to a simpler life and more clarity for all of us.
Hmm.
So I'll keep it short because I could talk for hours about this, but in April of 2022, so Good Friday, right before Easter, he had the flu all week. I took him into the emergency room. He had an appendectomy, went septic. Within days, we were life flighted to Omaha. and ended up being there for 4 months. So I literally packed a bag for an overnight stay and was gone for
Oh,
4 months. I had started this career 4 years prior to that. And when I started the career, the way that I was compensated, um, my base salary would not have even paid for my bills.
oh wow.
So it was like go hard or go home, you know? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was compensated for getting new clients, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I was going to be paid. So everything else kind of got fuzzy, and I was hyper focused on growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I drank the Kool-Aid, and I wouldn't say that I sacrificed time with my kids like physically, but
Mm-hmm.
emotionally and mentally, I was
Yeah.
always focused on
Yeah.
uh, it was survival mode, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to grow so that we can pay our bills? And so it was going really well. I was doing the processes, growing very quickly on the hamster wheel, and then bam,
Mm-hmm.
stops. I mean, I can't really talk to clients. I'm in the ICU all day long.
Mm-hmm.
His alarms are going off. He was in a coma for 6 weeks, and he
Oh my
wasn't even
God.
supposed to survive night one. So when we
How
got there to
old was he
Omaha,
then?
he was 7.
7. Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
So when we arrived in Omaha, he was in complete organ failure. And they told us he wouldn't survive the hour. But he just kept pulling through, and they tried everything experimental they could think of. Um, he was in a coma for 6 weeks with no hope. There was a time, this was my absolute breaking point in life. He was kept open and washed out every other day. So there was a time where they were taking him back to the OR to do a washout. And they said, you need to say goodbye. He's the sickest kid we have ever had
Oh
in
my
our
God.
OR, and we can't guarantee that he'll come back this time. And it was like an out of body experience. Like I can, like I'm stuck to his bed, you know, and they're like trying to pull me off while they're
Mm-hmm.
taking him down the hallway. And I just broke. And I called my priest, and I was angry. And I was like, why is this happening to me? Why is it happening to Kellen? Take me instead. You know, what do you want from me? What did I do? Like I was I was just in that angry state and still trying to control the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, God does not punish us for our mistakes, but he allows you to make the decision and create what happens next. So, what are you going to do with this situation? How are you going to interpret it? How is it going to affect you? And so, after that, I came back, and he came back to the room, and I met him there, and he survived that washout. And I just gave up control, or more so like gave in to this is out of my control. This is no longer a worldly problem on earth.
Mm.
You know, this is
Yeah. It's not
up to
important on
God.
earth. Mm-hmm.
Yep, what he's going to do with this situation. And so I think that's really where I broke being in control of everything, like I had been my entire life, to saying,
Wow.
I need help. Like life is bigger than what I can handle. And yeah, from that moment on, just started really thinking about what we want our lives to look at next. Like it changed
Mm-hmm.
from fear and anger to like hope and optimism. And it kind of
Mm.
radiated through the whole hospital. I mean, it was really beautiful to see all of these insanely medically brained people filling the hallways to pray for him every morning, you know,
Oh,
during their rounds.
wow.
And our entire city stopped at lunch, and the schools stopped and prayed for him. And
Oh.
like that coming together, even my son says this, like that was so hard, but it was also so beautiful, he says, because he felt it too, you know?
Oh,
I mean, really that. And there's a huge silver lining. People dusted off their Bibles. I've had people share that it saved their marriage. It just really put life into perspective for a lot of people because it was so unexpected.
wow.
Um, So, yeah, that completely changed. I don't want to go back to managing all of
Mm,
this and only thinking about work. Now the priority is my kids. If work starts to take over that, nope, I take a step back. And it's always about the time, which is the key, right? It's the one
yeah.
thing that we can't create and we can't get back. So it's everything that we do in life as a family is about our time together and maximizing that.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, it's been completely life changing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all of that. That's so powerful. I had
Yeah,
goosebumps about all
yeah.
of it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is a very powerful story, and it's just
Mhm.
they call him even in Omaha the miracle baby. They have no idea why he survived, no medical reason why he
Uh,
survived, and he's doing great. They said he would always have issues. He doesn't. All of his levels
mhm.
are back up to normal, and so yeah, now we get to, just like my priest told me, now we get to take that experience for the positive. We could be angry. We could have handled it a different way. But no, life is beautiful and we get to create it how we want. So,
Yeah. Wow. Just being present with each other, and when you're together, having that full capacity to love each other and to be present with each other, that's just such a
mhm.
gift.
Yeah, and really intense for my daughter too. She was 10,
Oh,
so I
wow.
mean, going through that, she was there for a lot of it, and I'm very grateful that I had my family to help too.
Mhm.
Um, So yeah, I mean, it will forever change how she lives her life. I, want to believe that it will change the way that those doctors and those interns, treat their patients moving forward and just like keeping hope. They asked if they could do a published study on his case. I said, well, sure, but what's the point? You don't know what worked. And they
Uh-huh.
said just to provide hope for families, if anything
Oh, that's
else.
a
I
pretty good
mean,
point.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so there were points where we could have, called it and we didn't. We just kept saying, no, nope, it's
Mhm.
just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to turn. So, yeah, pretty powerful. And in that, there was a day where I called my attorney. I'm making all of these life and death decisions for my son, and you have a lot of like growing self-awareness when you're sitting in an ICU room by yourself for
Mhm.
weeks on end. And so I called my attorney and I said, my estate plan has a ton of holes here. Like, let's get this fixed because I mean, your kids are taken care of. They have you to make those decisions, but as adults we don't. And so that kind of, is where my passion for estate planning sparked as well. And I learned a lot just being in that experience and thinking
Mm.
about, if this were me or if I were making these decisions for a parent, what do I need to have in place, to protect all of those parties involved. So that's kind
Wow.
of where that direction kind of started becoming
Mhm.
really important in that new business and that new life that we were going to create when we
Right.
left.
Wow. Okay, so in the hospital, you're there 4 months?
Right. Yep. So he was in the ICU for 3 months and then he had rehab for a month in a
Mhm.
facility. So he had to learn how to walk and talk and see and eat um,
Mm.
all over again. I came home one time and there were issues. So I stayed the night, repacked my bag, and then I was on the phone the entire 8-hour drive back, um, saying, no, you can't do that. There's just always something. So if you do ever have a loved one in a medical facility, like you have to be there. I mean, there's decisions that you have to be able to make. Whether it be intubation or chest tubes or medication, we really were his advocate
Mhm.
every day, all day. So,
Yeah. Oh God, I just can't even imagine.
mhm.
It just must have been so taxing on you.
Mhm.
And then to know that you're going into it from the corporate job where you're just scrambling to get new
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
So when you came back, how did you navigate that?
There were points where the discussion would have allowed me to kind of change the way that I was doing business. My office was out of town. I'm the only parent in town, so I really needed to be here. And it just didn't work out where that was going to allow me to be in town, to move my office to town, but also to allow me to really decrease my book size and work at a different pace with clients
Mm-hmm.
and a different like quality level. Um, so when I got back, there were a lot of those discussions.
Were they open to you being gone that long, or were they pressuring you to do some business while you're there or to try and figure that out?
Yeah, so I guess both.
Yeah.
They're a corporation. I completely understand it. At the end of the day, those assets were their assets. So they were doing things to protect that. But to be honest, like my brain was not there.
No,
Um,
no.
to say it harshly, like I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Like when you're dealing with life and death or,
Yeah.
you know, um, those other issues and like send it to someone else. For now, I'm just not in a brain space to do that. So, yeah, when I got back, there were some really good discussions, and I really enjoyed the people I worked with and the company I worked for. But it was just a better fit to look in the independent direction so that we had more
Mm-hmm.
control for my family, yes, but also for what clients needed.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Um,
I imagine the pressure was intense, coming home and realizing, okay, he's okay. You can
mhm,
breathe. We're in a new role and having to build from not really from scratch, but you were
mhm.
having to build to be able to meet those bills. Holy cow.
Right. Yeah. And I was lucky to have like ran hard. I mean, I think that there's always blessings in life in our careers, that I had that window to really build my business before this happened. And
Mm-hmm.
it could have been anything that life threw at me. I think that like we're allowed certain times where we get to build, and then in case we
Yeah.
need to take a step back, and that was that phase in my life, and I'm grateful for it. I wouldn't want to redo it. I don't,
Oh my God.
it was a little rough. But then, luckily I did have that flexibility when we came back, and it was a while. I mean, I homeschooled Kellen, and then it was still another year before I went independent. So I stayed with my firm for another year before making that leap. Um, Mostly emotionally. So, like a lot of your entrepreneurial clients that you coach, I mean, we go through burnout too often. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to make a huge decision like that, I knew I needed my energy back and my focus back. So it
Mm-hmm.
was a little over a year before I made that big move again.
Yeah. Yeah. So many of the clients I work with come from a corporate setting previously, and
Sure.
it's set up for men. It's a patriarchal
Sure.
system that
Yeah.
works. It's a competitive nature. It's the up high, I get my piece first. you
Yeah.
know, no, there's
Yep.
no the abundance, the alignment with your soul. It's just no, you're going to work and you're putting one foot in front of the other and you're trying to
Mhm.
do more than the next guy so that you can stay where you are or grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That just doesn't align with
Yeah.
us.
No, it doesn't. And it's funny you say that because I've never thought about it until you were explaining this. But I definitely was more when you talk about like the male and female side of how we operate,
Mm-hmm.
definitely operating like in survival mode, logic, I'm the breadwinner, I'm the everything in the household. Another silver lining from Kellen's event is like it re-triggered my emotions, to
Mm,
kind of like have more of that feminine side to that balance,
yeah.
um, kind of reignite that balance for our family and even just how I view people and how much more I care about
Mm,
people. I was
mm-hmm.
I could get through a lot before without having a lot of emotion, and now I just care so much more deeply.
Hmm.
So it's definitely made me better at what I do for people too.
Yeah. To reclaim that empathy and that alignment with your soul, just to be,
Hmm.
yeah, the feminine
Hmm.
energy. Hmm.
Right. Yeah, and people want that too when they're working with
Mm,
professionals. I think men can harness that too. I don't think it's one way or the other. I think it's just any person being aware of that and
yeah.
how you what you need to be in a role to best serve your clients.
Hmm. Yeah. A balance.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Melissa, I didn't know this. I didn't know
No,
any of
you
that.
didn't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay. Well, a lot of people probably don't. And some people, that I know now, maybe they knew about his story or followed it on Facebook years ago, but haven't connected the dots. And that's totally fine. I'm not a super, well, until now. I haven't shared it. Yeah, I haven't shared it publicly until now. And part of that is like for his, confidentiality too. Someday he'll share what he
Yeah.
wants to about what he
Hmm.
experienced. So,
Yeah. And
mhm.
today he's happy, healthy,
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing
100%.
great. He's playing football for the first year
Oh my
and
gosh.
and yeah, he's like such a sweetie. He wants to take over my business someday. Like he's so sweet, and he would actually do a good job because he is very empathetic. But yeah, no, we're very lucky. And that was one reason why I really hadn't shared his story before too, because I know that we are very blessed compared to other families. Some
Mm.
some people don't end their story with their kids surviving. And I did, and we did. And we're very grateful for that. But I really empathize with those that, it's not a happy ending. And how do you
Hmm.
recover from that emotionally?
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole different level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
I was listening to a meditation this morning, and it was about a woman who had gone through some trauma, and she said, "Why me? Why me?"
Hmm.
And she went to her spiritual advisor who told her, you want me to solve this for you. So I want you to go and gather a penny from every person in your village who has never had trauma and then come back to
Hmm.
me in a week. And of course, there was no one that hadn't had trauma. So the perspective
Right.
of everyone has something that they're going through or that they've gone through, and you
Hmm.
just don't know what their struggle is. And when you can cry together or empathize together and hold each other up, it
Hmm.
it changes the way you see things. It can change the world for the better when we see each other's pain.
Hmm. Absolutely. And make us stronger, if we choose
Mm,
that. Um,
yeah.
I think it's a constant healing. I wish that it was right away, but even just months ago, I was speaking with a therapist and I said, I have a great life despite XYZ. And
Oh.
she pointed out and she's like, but wait, we don't do that anymore. Like we don't this like it's not time to close the chapter. It's time to close the entire book.
mm,
I have a great life and moving forward instead
mm.
of
Instead of but.
despite and
Mm-hmm.
holding on to because there's been so much good that has come from all of the bad. So,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
mhm.
And, thinking not about big T trauma, but like small things that happen to us. And, everybody's definition of small and big is different. But,
Right.
like to have like a business close or to go through a career change, those are
Mhm.
losses, but something good always comes from it. And usually something way better from
Right.
the thing that we go through.
Hmm. Hmm. And another thing that I've accepted is you may never get the answer why. Like you just may not. And
Yeah.
it may be years and maybe like 10. I mean, there have been things that 10 years later I realize, oh, that's why
Yeah.
that happened. So you kind
Hmm.
of have to let go of that. Like you might not be able to solve the problem or know why someone does something or why something
Hmm.
happened, why
Yep.
there was that tragedy. But you can control, how you're going to perceive it and move forward.
Yeah. Your reaction.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wow. That's so powerful. Okay.
Yeah, it is powerful. I know. Thank you, little guy, for
Yeah.
changing our lives,
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah, you just never know
Hmm.
what's going to happen to do that for you and your family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I imagine anyone listening is going to want to go hug their kids right now. And that's a good thing to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when life is noisy, so we need that reset.
Yeah. We take things for granted and yeah, just be
Hmm.
present. Be present.
Hmm.
Um, okay. So, what have I not asked you that you would love to share with my audience?
Oh, well, I guess since you work with a lot of
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, I mean, I
Hmm.
love entrepreneurship. My degree was in entrepreneurship and management. And
Nice.
so it's really fulfilling to work with business owners. So that is one of my focus areas. And for them to get clarity just on, their cash flow and their tax strategies and um, you know, there's always a place to put your money back into your business. And then there's always a place to start putting that towards your goals, especially like as moms, we're pushing our parents, but since we're both moms, pushing that, to everyone else. But when I'm working with business owners, usually it's like, but wait, we also have to take care of you, and that's
Mm,
establishing your retirement plan. That's like looking at those timelines and getting clear answers, working on your cash flow, because as business owners, sometimes we can be creative and messy, and it takes someone else
hmm.
to come in and um, one thing that I do, I think, better than most advisors is helping people categorize their cash flow for now and retirement. So it's a three bucket wealth strategy where I help them do a reverse savings so that they have access to their funds for emergency, for
Hmm.
midterm,
Mm,
lifestyle spending, and then for their retirement as well. So that's one thing I think I do pretty well that people very much appreciate. And they can see exactly where their funds go and how it's
mm,
helping them save money in taxes along the way. Um, but yeah, if they are interested, starting that financial engagement, they can go to the website. So it's hamptonwm.com. And we open that um, in January. So it's only open every so often, and we accept limited clients because, like we talked about, I want to get to know you at a deeper level and make sure that we're doing a good job for you. So financial planning engagement for 8 weeks, and then also just having a professional and a second set of eyes, meeting with you quarterly to keep you
mhm.
accountable for those financial goals. So, um, yeah, I imagine anyone you're working with, Penny, and that you talk to, I would also, get along very well with. So, always open to having the conversation too, even if it's just an educational phone call, to help them get
Mhm.
on the right steps.
Nice. Great. I'll include that link in my show notes for people too, so they can find it really easily and connect
Okay,
with you.
great.
Wonderful. Yeah, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, we get, our cash flow, we reinvest into the
Hmm.
next tool that we need, or as we're growing, it's really hard to keep focused on all those
Yeah.
buckets.
Right. And yeah, I hear all the time, it's kind of interesting. I mean, the more I make, the more I pay in taxes. That's one of them. Or, I'm
Mm.
trying to retire, but now I'm paying for my adult children or their
Oh,
college. And, those are real issues that people need real answers to.
yeah.
Um, and, on top of that, establishing their estate plan, I'm going to bug the heck out of you until you sign your documents. Because I'm really passionate about it. So, yeah, I would say like a lot of times, yes, I'm a strategist, but I'm also an accountability partner, and
Mhm.
keeping track of you throughout the year is important.
Awesome. Okay, can I switch gears on you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so I love to end each conversation with a discussion about cocktails.
And
What's your favorite cocktail?
oh, Moscow Mule.
Mm,
For one, because I
hmm
mean, the cups are really decorative and unique, and it's fun to hear the history of, "Oh, I got this cups, at a place or traveling." Um, but no, I love ginger everything and the lime, and
Mm,
it's refreshing. And yes, Moscow Mule is top of my list.
I love it. Okay, do you get
Uh,
into any of the like the flavored ones where they get a little creative with different
oh yeah.
flavor profiles?
Oh yeah. So if I would say if I'm out at a restaurant, like the most creative cocktail, I'll just choose that and then hope for the best.
Yeah. You can always go back to the original.
Right, exactly. So, no, that's fun. What's yours?
Oh gosh, it depends on the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the temperature, the weather, and like what if you're gonna be, eating something. Yeah, I love a good dirty martini.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good old fashioned. Yeah. A Negroni. If I'm going cocktails, those are kind of my go-tos. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was
Oh,
introduced to Aperol Spritz over in Italy. That's kind of fun
love
if
those.
it's done well.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, the classic recipe, I love Aperol spritz as well, but the classic recipe is a little bit sweet for me. So I back off on the Aperol a
sure.
little bit and add a little more Prosecco because why not?
Right? Yeah. Why not? More Prosecco's never going to be a problem. That's for sure.
No, true. So true.
Oh, that's fun. You should
So
come out with like a recipe book, like a Penny's cocktail.
it's coming because
Good.
um I have a sipper club where
Okay.
once a month my membership gets together. I create a craft cocktail just for us and give it to them like the
Fun.
week before so that they can get the ingredients and stuff. And then we get together and make it on Zoom together and have an hour of chit
Fun.
chat and
I want to
toasting.
come.
Well, I'll send you the link.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. That'll be
Yeah,
so fun.
absolutely. It's very fun. It's a really great group of women and yeah, we have a blast together just sipping and chatting.
Cool. Yeah. I love it so much. Well, thank you so much, Penny. This is great. And it's just so easy to visit with you. You're wonderful.
Oh, you too, Melissa. This has been amazing. I appreciate your time and your openness to discussing all the things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Anytime. And if there are things that come up that we want to explore further, let me know. So I love the education part of my job. So
Yeah, that's very good. Amazing.
yeah.
So you're relaunching your 8-week overview in
Yep.
January.
Yep,
Jan-
yep. So that's the intentional wealth plan starting in January. And
okay.
then we just open that when I have availability and when my other CFP has availability. So yeah, if they're interested, it's never too early to go on and submit a consultation
Okay.
form. And then at least I have your information. I can let you know when the next opening is,
Mhm.
so we can get you started.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Good.
Well, have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Penny. You too. We'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
soon. I'll
Hope
see
to
you
see
at the
you.
sipping club.
Oh, sounds good.
Okay.
That's a wrap on this episode of Penny for Your Shots. If you loved today's conversation, don't let the inspiration stop here. Get my weekly insider updates straight to your inbox. It's where I spill behind the scenes goodies, exclusive tips, and all the fun stuff I don't always share on the podcast. Sign up now at pennyforyourshots.com/insider. I'll see you in your inbox next Thirsty Thursday. Cheers!